Don't you shrink back when they undermine you and their information seems so strong and you don't feel like you can stand against it. You push back because your perspective is different and it's never going to align. If you believe in holistic healthcare, then you'll never align with them. You realize that you have the power to do what they can't. And in their heart, they know that what they're offering don't work. So don't lose your power to something that's working against humanity. Good evening, you guys. We are back. IDBTC 2024, you guys. It's your girl, Kai Smith, also known as your hair loss advocate and the founder of the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases, where we certify beauty professionals to become functional trichologists. Now, you guys, tonight we're doing a thing. I have been on mute really for the past week because I am still downloading all the phenomenal things that God did in the space of ID, our first one for 2024. And when I tell you he did a thing, as he always does, every time I say, I don't think he can get no better than this, but some kind of way, he tends to outdo himself every single time in that space. Him meaning God. So tonight, the ripple effect, how ID hair loss practitioners impact communities. So we have a few of our certified hair loss practitioners coming in. They are students of trichology in the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases. They are hair loss first responders. They are doing real big things in the community that they serve in. And that is the idea, to dispatch hair loss first responders that will soon become functional certified trichologists into each community so that we can actually start bridging the gap with people's health and wellness through the signs the hair is giving that's happening through the body. So we are interpreting that language and we are actually building protocols and helping people get well through the maladies that they're experiencing with their scalp and their hair. So tonight, we're going to chop it up. You're going to hear so many different perspectives about what these licensed beauty professionals are doing in their communities. I'm excited to hear their feedback. I'm excited to hear all they're doing, how their perspective has changed, has gotten deeper from when they first started and embarked on the journey with trichology. And now I get to partner with them. And they are some special individuals. I got some special ladies behind the scenes waiting to come on the scene tonight. So we have Miss Brittany Irons out of New Orleans, Louisiana. We have Angela Dumas Reed out of Augusta, Georgia. We have Philonda Miles out of Maryland. We have Carlin Early out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And we are getting ready to have some deep conversations. So y'all tune in and come on with us tonight. All right, bring them up. Let's get it going, y'all. Hey, Angela. Hey, Philonda.
Hey.
Hey, Carlin.
Hey.
And hey,
Hello.
Brittany.
Hey, Britt.
Hey, y'all.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
Thank you for joining me tonight, ladies. So I want to ask you guys, I'm asking the ladies and I am asking you guys who are watching us live, share this out on your platforms. Why do I want you to share it? Because sharing is caring. Why do I want you to share it? Because sharing is caring. And also, someone needs to hear this, whether it is your beauty bestie who is licensed and, walking it out with you, or if it is actually someone who needs help with hair loss. Because we have these women throughout the country that are able to support them. So either way, we can support you if you have hair loss, or we can support you if you are looking to support others with hair loss. No matter what, something's here for you tonight. So I need you to share this amongst all your platforms. We're actually live on YouTube as well. So if you're joining us on YouTube, hey, how's everybody doing? And I actually said that I was going to broadcast live on Instagram because I actually wanted them to be able to tune in. This platform does not allow people to tune in on Instagram. So I am actually going to go live on Instagram right now just so that they can tune in and they can hear what's happening over here, you guys. Okay. So let me start this live. And then we gonna get into it because we don't want anybody to miss out on anything. So we live on Instagram, we live on Facebook. You guys on Instagram, you will not be able to see what is happening with all the ladies, but we have some trichology students in the space that's sharing their feedback on the ID experience that we just had in February. So let's get to it, you guys. Angela, I would like for you to just introduce yourself a little bit. Let the people know who you are.
Okay. Hi, I'm Angela Dumas Reed, out of Augusta, Georgia. I'm a licensed cosmetologist for 24 years, a salon owner for the past 10 years. And also I've been dwelling with this trichology on this journey since 2016, but this is the year to get it. This is the year to really, really get it. So, yeah.
That's amazing. You coming to get what's yours, right? And you
That's
only
right.
want what has your name on it, right?
Yes.
Good stuff. All right. So Miss Philonda Miles, Philonda with 2 O's and an A.
Hey.
What? Give us some background on you.
I am Philonda. I am a senior cosmetologist. I'm also a certified trichologist, so I'm in my second bout of a trichology program. I like to call it, which Kai says, is I'm now functioning in that space through her functional trichology method. So I'm super excited about it. I'm a forever student of trichology. I love the work, I love the study, and I love what it has to offer. And I also love the fact that, given the caring person that I am and that I pour a lot into people and always trying to help, this gives me another way to do that for people and just do a work that I like to do. So that is where my heart is in with dealing with people who have scalp maladies, disorders, and that is just the gist of it for me.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Miss Brittany Irons.
Hey everybody, I am Brittany. I am from New Orleans. I have been in the industry for about 18 years, and this journey is exciting for me because I came in not wanting to be a trichologist. And so I'm excited to get to share what changed my mind about that. And also, I don't know, I feel like I need to be a superhero after finding out the information that I've been finding out. And I'm so excited to share it with everybody.
Nice. Good stuff. Miss Carlin Early.
Hey, hi, I'm Carlin Early from New Orleans. I've been doing hair for about 34 years now. I've been on the trichology journey since maybe 1995, 96. And we stumbled upon Kai, my business owner, stumbled upon her, and I'm super excited and super glad that she did because we've learned so much through the journey, but she just put the nail in the coffin. So she did it. The functioning part of it is super exciting. I think that's the most important part of it because it's really not about hair. It's about the person, getting them healthy, getting them on a different lifestyle. So I'm excited and I'm ready.
Nice. All right. Well, let's get to it, ladies. We had a phenomenal experience for 5 days. 5 days. And so coming into that, when God get downloaded and said, you need to take this thing from 3 days to 5, I'm like, okay, now how are we going to do 3 to 5? How are we going to do that? What does that look like? And in that space, when he showed me exactly what we were going to be doing, how we were going to be dealing with the whole practitioner. And so I just want to give you guys a backstory on what that really looked like, because everything that I do deals with the whole person, if you will. It deals with the whole person. And I say that because dealing with trichology, we deal from a functional perspective. We're dealing with the whole person. When we do trichology consultations with people who are losing hair loss, we are doing it from the perspective of the whole person. So it's a holistic perspective. Well, who cares for the practitioner? The practitioner is pouring out everything. The practitioner is serving on a deeper level. The practitioner is diving deeply into unknown territory that this is information that we don't necessarily really want to know. And we become engulfed in the problems that these people have as we are really only trying to help them with their hair. And then we find out that it's much deeper than the hair. They have mindset imbalances. Some have psychological imbalances, really poor behaviors that have led them to these spaces. And all of this stuff is new to them. They don't know that all of this is related to their hair. And so as we're diving in, right, unprotected, we're going in because we've been taught we style hair. We just want to make you look good. Now we see we have a problem behind the chair. In the shampoo bowl, there's hair. In our combs, there's hair. On the scalps, it's void of hair. At home, they're having hair in their showers, or they're seeing a lot of hair on their countertops, or whatever is happening with them. And so we just think we're going in for a hair problem. But we're not really going in for a hair problem. We're actually going in with a health problem, a lifestyle problem. And we have to be able to show them how they got to where they are. If we can't tell them how they got to where they are, how can they follow us to correct the problem? And they don't know how they got there. So when we go into that, the mindset is everything. The mindset actually drives, it's the driving force of everything. It is the engine that drives every single thing that happens with our physiology. And so if we start entangling ourselves with all of the problems and emotions of these people, can you imagine how it makes us feel when we've had a heavy client and we're only styling their hair and we leave and we're like, whoo, that was a heavy day. And we're just styling and having conversation. What happens when you're probing for a purpose? Because you understand that the mindset is what's driving all of these maladies or these afflictions that's happening with the people. And you entangle yourself in that, and you don't know how to protect yourself from it. You don't know how to fill your own cup or refill your cup. So when I started thinking about it, I said, well, what God is actually having me to do is deal with the whole practitioner. So when it came to teaching you a skill set, that's all we used to do with ID, was just teach you the skill set for 3 days. And as a result of teaching you the skill set, now you know how to combat hair loss on the front line, hence the title, Hair Loss First Responder. But then God said, no, it's time to go deeper. It's time for more, because these people who are on the front line, now they have PTSD from the clients that they are working with, and they have stuff that they don't know what to deal with. They also have acquired a new skill set that they don't quite know how to monetize. They don't quite know how to protect themselves from a legal perspective. They don't even know how to market themselves in this space of newness, right? So what do we need to do? We need to create an incubator for the full practitioner to support with mindset, to support with skill set, to support with financial wellness, to support with reality and branding. And that's exactly what we did in those 5 days. And so I just want you guys to give, because I'm the creator of it. God gave me the vision. But when you create something and someone experiences something, there is a gap that has to be filled between the creation and the experience. So I need you guys tonight to fill that gap with your experience to make sure that I've hit the nail, that I've actually created a solution to the lack of support that we have in the industry when we're thrown out there to get a job done, and then we're left having to pick up the pieces. So you guys, I'm not going to call on you. I just kind of want you to come from your heart tonight and share exactly what it is that you're feeling.
I'll go first.
I'll go. So for me, just starting with day one, and when you said the first 3 hours going to be spent with the psychologist, and I was thinking like, whoa, the first 3 hours. But it was something that was definitely needed. And you don't really think going to these type classes that you're gonna get that. And so for me, like, she brought someone in to help us, help that mindset, and just the practices that she had us doing was just so great. And I remember, prime example, when she had us to close our eyes and she was like, imagine this light falling up, going up your body. And at this point, it got to my knee got to shaking. And then when it got to my shoulder, it was like pressure on my shoulder. And you wouldn't think, just like, wait, what's going on? But I had revelation in that, just with something like that. Like, look, these battles are not yours to carry. And if you don't let go of some things, you're going to crumble. But who would have thought? I didn't think that I could get that at ID, behind the chair. Not at all. So that was especially day one for me was, yes.
So I'm hearing you say that you got something that you didn't even know that you needed.
Correct.
You didn't know
I, I got it. And that's just saying from day one. So I haven't even went on to the other days, but just in day one, just like, and we haven't even dwelled in the book, but you still getting something just in the first 3 hours of even coming into the space. So that was big for me,
And so how did getting that download in the first 3 hours, and you hadn't even touched on the skill set yet, how did that set you up to be able to receive what was going to happen the rest of that day and the remaining 4 days?
To be open, to not focus on anything else, because at this time, it was strictly about the person, which was me. And so just with the things that y'all was talking about, just at that moment helped me to realize, like, just take everything off. Don't think about nothing. Just, this is about you. And so it's that self-awareness. And as a lot of times as a stylist, you don't think that you need that. And there's so many people come in and they telling their stories and stuff like that. And it's like, you know what? I don't have that to carry at all. I don't have that to carry. I am to help my clients, but it's like learning to, even if they tell you that stuff, to be able to release it. And that's what I was learning, within those 3 hours,
So you gave yourself permission to play full out. You gave yourself permission to not protect, hide, defend. You came in there, you stripped yourself so that you can allow, you can release and allow some new things to penetrate you. And as a result of that, now that you are well beyond, because we're 3 weeks out from that, 3 weeks have gone by, and now that you've had the opportunity to go back, let's just only focus on those initial 3 hours where you got the first shift. In those initial 3 hours, how would you say that being immersed and allowing yourself to play full out without holding back, releasing to rebuild, how has that served you in your personal space and in your business at this point? Just the first 3 hours in which you experienced.
So starting the first 3 hours, like when you wake up, is strictly about me. Take that time to breathe, take that time to just, woosah in a sense. And so even as I come to the space of the salon, and even as, being able to share some of those nuggets with clients that I receive within those first 3 hours. And believe it or not, even as I was talking to even certain friends on the phone, they're even implying, those practices as well. So it's like, you get it. And if you keep it to yourself, how's that helping someone else? But if you share, you just didn't think like it was so huge, but you sharing it and they even applying it to their life. So we're helping someone just with the 3 hours that I shared, with that information, but I'm helping at least 5 people just with that.
That's awesome. And so that is how you're impacting the community, your community, with just 3 hours of what you learned, not even diving into the skill set, but understanding how to reset first thing at the top of the morning so that you can refill your cup and then you can go out and share from that space. And as you learned in that space with Dr. Joy, it's about coming back home, coming back to yourself. That was the biggest piece that she wanted to impart, was coming back to home. That's good, Angela. Thank you for sharing that. Philonda, the same for you. Can you just hop in there and talk about the impact that segment had on your life as a whole, personally and professionally?
Wow. Dr. Joy was she was refreshing for me. First, let me just say I was very intentional about paying attention to how soft spoken she was. So for that, it drew me in, and I felt like it was pulling the room into her every time to be focused in what she was saying, and really try to connect with it and be one with it. For me, I didn't really have to reset. I knew coming into ID that I was going to bring my broken self. So I didn't try to put on airs or be a perfect person. And I did that because I've been in spaces with you before. I watch you, and then I also knew work I wanted to do on myself. So to have her come in there for the first 3 hours, it was maybe like 3 hours of this. That's a lot of crying. Like, who has that much tears? And I say that with joy, because for me, the ones that know me, I'm very sensitive, but then I'm also this hardcore person that, people think I don't have, I'm the strong one, let me say like that. And so I felt like I was going to be in this space, and the fact that you opened up with that and gave her to us was a way for us to relax, and then also not only be in a place with her, but to get comfortable with the room. Because at that point, it was almost like do or die. You can either go full in and play this game, or you're going to miss it right from the jump. And so I felt like that was a power move for me. And it allowed me to just go in and say, I'm not going to so much focus on what the room is doing. I'm going to focus in on what she's saying to do, what she's having us do, what she's talking about. And then from the standpoint that I can relate, because me being in that space where I'm already dealing with clients, and as you say, you get this, and you're almost taking up everything they pouring on you, and then you have to have a place to release it. And the fact that she was giving us tools and just teaching us how to deal with ourselves outside of them was something that was big for me. I also take away that she gave us this exercise, and not to tell too much, but to tell it, because if it encourages you, get in the space. I highly recommend it. But with that 1 minute exercise, it wasn't enough for me, because my brain is ever racing, always going. So I took mine to 5 minutes. And I will say, from the day we started that exercise, from day one, I have not stopped it up to now. So I wake up into my exercise and try to focus on me and say, what is it that I need to do today, and what do I need to do it, and then center myself in it and move from there. So that's what I took away from it. Or that's what I am taking away from it, because it's a continuous work for me to grow and be in that place where I'm being intentional about what I need first before I'm trying to put others in front of that.
That's good. That's good. Asking yourself, what do you need and what do you need to do it? And I mean, just in all transparency, how many of us are asking ourselves, what do we need? We're just
I never even thought about it.
We just going out there trying to go after something, and we're not checking in with ourselves. We're not caring for ourselves, but then we're forging ahead, and we want to care for everybody else, and we're looking at everyone else's needs, but we've not stopped to say, well, what do I need? And then a lot of times when we ask ourselves, what do we need? We don't even know how to answer the question. If someone else asks us, what do we need? We will stumble to answer the question. but we know how to say what we don't need. I don't need this, and I don't need that. But what do you need? How do you nurture you? Because if you really nurture you, you can't really nurture you. You can't really nurture anyone else because you can't give what you don't have. And that's the whole idea of learning how to go within yourself so that you can become a better servant. You can't serve others when you don't know how to serve you. So when these clients are coming in with these needs, if you're not compassionate with yourself and you're not giving yourself grace, how do you extend that to someone who doesn't know that they are the reason behind these maladies, these afflictions? And that's the whole thing. Brittany, chime in. What did you experience in those first 3 hours?
I feel like implementing that segment in ID, it gave us a chance. It's always releases happening. So it just gave us allotted time for certain releases to happen. And in my opinion, it was like really just holding a mirror up to yourself, because even when she's saying, close your eyes and breathe, for one, I had to fight with myself to close my eyes and just breathe. And I actually share with Dr. Joy that I took the setting off my watch that tells you to breathe. I'm like, because who has time to breathe? So like nobody have time to stop what they doing and breathe. And so, we got into a little chat about that. And it just kind of connected that exercise for me. But during our breathing exercises, a lot of people share what they were feeling. Like I breathed and I felt the pain in my back, or I felt something in my foot. And it just made you listen to yourself just for a minute. And I feel like so we kind of just brought some things to the forefront, like what's going on in your mind. Like you need to settle your mind right now so that you can receive what's happening. And once you are able to do that, the entire 5 days just it made a difference. Because even once we were talking with a lawyer or talking about branding, you were able to receive an underlying message, I feel, than just how to brand yourself. I was able to hear more than just that.
That's good, Brittany.
That's good. Carlin, what about you?
I thought Dr. Joy and yourself, Kai, that was amazing. That's a keeper. I'll just say that. That should be a keeper because it helps you set yourself up for a victory, because it allowed me especially to look into myself. Like Philanda said, you're always busying yourself, trying to help. I mean, our profession is to serve others, but do we serve us? So just in that space, I was able to serve Carlin. I was able to give Carlin grace that I don't always give. So the breathing exercise was enlightening. It really, yes, made you focus, be intentional about you, what you need, what you want, how to go about doing it, and not just in a rush because you're just trying to get everything done. So it really just, to me, I just watched the whole class. It just opened everyone up to be more transparent, to receive, to give, to still serve, because that's what we're normally doing anyway, but it just allowed us to just do it freely. So it was just really a great 5 day. It really was. I'm always excited when I'm going, but I just had no idea that Joy would be there, Dr. Joy would be there, and that just put the cherry on top.
Yeah,
it really was great.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And so let's, I spoke earlier and said that this group of women that I have in the space with me tonight, they experienced ID hair loss behind the chair. This isn't their first experience with ID hair loss behind the chair. And they are actually enrolled in the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases. So they've gone the distance. And so what I really want to highlight on, because one of the things that I think that we do once we become certified is we think I'm certified. I don't really have to build up on my knowledge. I already got what I need, especially when I'm saying ID hair loss behind the chair. It's an intro course to trichology. Come and join us because this is a skill set that you need in order to do hair these days. This is why trichology is the new cosmetology. However, I would like to enlighten. And if you are already a certified trichologist that's listening in, can you please comment? Comment me, if you are a certified trichologist, right? Already. And so, what I want to debunk is that this space is only for the beginner. This space is not just for the beginner. As you know, we already have a previously certified trichologist in this space who's actually going back through my course to become a functional certified trichologist. And so, Philonda, I want to have you to share your experience with already having had coming with a certification and how you've been able to really level up in this space as a result of ID, not one time, but this is your second experience with ID. So talk about the differences between the two, because you did one virtual, you did this one in person. You were already certified when you did the first one virtual. Now, you came back for a second go and you're in your psychology program. So one might be saying, well, why would I need to go to ID and I already have my fundamentals? Expand on that for me.
First, thank you for calling me. I didn't want to have to jump out this chair and come through the camera because I was burning on this one to say something. So let me first just put this out here. If you've been to ID and you did it virtually, the experience is like 100 times more. And I'm going to say this publicly. I hope Kai don't kill me. It's ID hair loss behind the chair, but I call it the vault. And I'm never going to stop calling it the vault because it's so many treasures in this place. And so if you did it virtually, that's reason number one to go ahead and come into the space. It's unlike any trichological conference space I've been in, and I've done many. I just was saying to someone today that I can be like the liaison to someone who's new in trichology and don't know what to do, and just say to them, hey, vet these spaces, go into these spaces and see it. And with Kai's, it's one that I talk about so much because of what's given in it. And so for me, who, as Kai said, is a certified trichologist already, I didn't just go to this space just because it was like, oh, I'm a go. I already knew I was going to get something out of there because I did ID 3-day. And all honesty, it's not going to be my last time. I was talking with another peer colleague of mine, and I said, I'm going to do this because I understand that trichology is science, is ever changing, and we're forever students. Even as cosmetologists, we're licensed, we're supposed to be doing continuing education. And if you're not doing that, you're doing yourself a disservice. And you really can't give yourselves a higher or give your clients and your customers, your guests, whatever it may be, if you will, that you call them, you can't give them the best of you if you're not continuing to re-up on what you know, because things are ever changing, and I'm just a firm believer of that. And so in ID hair loss behind the chair, what I like about the 5-day is that now it's adding on these pieces of the business that we need to know and that a lot of people aren't talking about. But not only is it adding it in there in the conversation, the hands-on, the know-how, the show me, the do me, especially if you're a 3-way learner, threefold, then you're getting it up close and personal. Now, the last thing, maybe the last thing, but I'll just say with this and on the back end is that in the time of the 3 weeks since ID we did in February, I've met people and as I say, they ask me all the time, or if I'm doing some education or something somewhere, someone asks me, well, how did I get into this? What did I do? What is this? And I get those questions or I get those ones. Some of them are trichologists that are wondering if they should be in this space. And I tell them, no matter what, you're going to get something new. You don't even know it all. You don't have it all. And you don't even think you're going to get it there. But I promise you won't leave there the same. So for me, if anyone is even thinking about doing a trichology experience, or for those who are out there who think they're getting trichology or they're certified in 5 days or 2 weeks or a day, this is the prerequisite to you getting into that trichology field and seeing if you really have what it takes to go into trichology. Because I say it all the time, it's not for the weak at heart, it's not for the faint. You definitely got to run this race, and you got to run it swiftly and with endurance so that you can get it. And if you want it broken down to you simply, if you want it where you can understand it, if you want to be able to see it and you want to know if that's what you want to do, ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair with Kai Smith is the place to do it. I don't think there will be any question unanswered, unturned, or unfold. And if you go there open and ready to receive. So anything that you've had in your brain, me as a trichologist, I am telling you, I had to delete so I can pick up every single thing I got there. And nothing that was talked about in that space felt like it was a waste of time for me. And it's 5 days, it's long hours, but you got to be in there for the race and you got to be ready for it. And even though we didn't get that far, it's so good that Kai Smith even thought about the food we had to eat. Now, nobody's talked about that, but I just want to add that in there. Somebody need to get the pictures of the food, okay? And I'm going in there. Y'all find those pictures. Y'all know who I'm talking to with the photographers, the brand. Get the pictures of the food, because that right there was phenomenal to me, that you were so meticulous about paying attention to what we were doing in that space, and that our energy stayed up and high so that we can keep going through those long days, to the point to the days just felt like they weren't as heavy as they were, because we were getting so much. We were more so filled with knowledge than we were filled with being tired or worn out. So, that's what I'll say to that.
That's good, Philonda. Thank you for sharing all of that. And so for those of you who are, because I saw a few chime in and said, Lynn King said that I'm near completion, these things. So it doesn't devalue what anyone else is doing. All I can do is speak about the feedback that I get from other spaces. And every time someone comes into my space that has been somewhere else, it's, I didn't know that. I understood this, but I didn't understand the why. You're teaching me the why this is happening. They jumped to the how and never showed me the why. And so you can't know anything until you know what it is and why it's happening. You cannot jump to the how if you don't know the what and the why. And so people will show you something, and then you will end up following them because you don't understand the what and the why. But as I always say, in the spaces, no matter if it's just a short 1.5 hour webinar, if it's a 3-day, if it's a 5-day, if it's an 18-month, being in my space, I'm very meticulous and I'm very intentional about raising leaders, about raising people who know how to think for themselves. I don't believe in raising and rearing followers, because I don't need everyone flocking to me and relying on me to give you answers. I want to teach you how to fish, because when I teach you how to fish, you will know how to go out there and multiply that knowledge that I've given you, so that you can then train, you can then teach. People will be looking to you to do these things. But at the end of the day, even if you're already certified, if you are nearly certified, I promise you, ID is the space for you, because science is very confusing. And one thing we learn is we learn all the theory, but we don't understand how to use that theory. We're very confused when it comes to translating that information to a real life person. And that's the space that I intentionally work on to help my students understand what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how this science is going to translate to a result and who to use it on and why. And so I think Brittany, no, not Brittany, I'm sorry, I'm going backwards. Angela, also, you have previous experience in a space, and you also started AHSD in 2020 and recognized that there were some things that were keeping you from committing your all, and so you had to withdraw. Can you talk about why you chose, even though you didn't have to, why you chose to start all over again, and that wasn't even something that you had to do?
Because I didn't want to go straight to the meat. I wanted the advertise, the appetizer. I wanted the entree. So I didn't want to just, and you was willing to test me to see where I was, but I was like, no, I want to go back from the beginning, because even coming into this space, you have to be focused. And even though I was doing the work, I wasn't focused. I had so much going on. And so it's like, no, I'm going to start from the beginning. And I'm glad I did, because it was some stuff. I was like, now, where she put that there? Even though I had seen it before, it was just like new stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm glad I did. And even with the videos, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And get the shaking and stuff. But it is even taught me, all your craft, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm grateful that you give the feedback and that we're steady growing. So I know I knew no matter what, when I decided I needed to get back into my studies, I already knew I was coming back to the academy. It wasn't a question about it. And so I was glad that when I reached out to you, even though you were willing to say, let's test from that, I'm glad I started from the beginning, because it's just good stuff. I recommend, like people say, I stand on this, I stand on business, I stand on this academy. Like, this is the place to eat, as they say, because you definitely can't eat from everybody's table. But I can assure you that this is a table that you can sit down and you can have a meal, and that meal is going to be great. So we eating over here, y'all.
What we doing, Angela? What we doing, Angela?
We eating over here. Yeah. Yes, we eating over here. We getting fed.
5-course meal. 5-course meal.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
I cannot, Angela. And dessert, right?
Yeah. 5 courses.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I love the feedback that you guys are giving. Let's hop into a commercial really quick, you guys. Let's break. Y'all stay tuned. Share this out. If you just now coming in, we're just talking about how these ladies are on the front line in their communities with their trichological knowledge, supporting women, men, and children with hair loss. We'll be right back. What? Don't you shrink back when they undermine you and their information seems so strong and you don't feel like you can stand against it. You push back because your perspective is different and it's never going to align. If you believe in holistic healthcare, then you'll never align with them. You realize that you have the power to do what they can't. And in their heart, they know that what they're offering don't work. So don't lose your power to something that's working against you.
Hurry up, Rick.
All right, you guys, we are back. We are back. All right, and so that commercial right there, it speaks volumes. There was a lot being said in that space when that clip was captured. Does anybody remember what was happening in that space when I said that?
I was trying to remember.
Nobody remembers?
I do. I do, because it was a direct comment you gave to me. That message, every time I see that, it's for me, because we were talking about being in a space of who we are and owning that, and knowing what we know and being confident about it, and not feeling like we have to dumb ourselves down or
Yeah.
battle
Yeah.
against whether it's the medical industry or other people when we're trying to do this craft or work this, because one of the things that came out of it in that same conversation is it's not just about the hair, which you were saying also, that came from another student in another cycle. So I remember that moment, and it was a personally
Yeah.
something that stuck with me.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. And so for me, it's don't shrink back. And I'm about to go somewhere. And before I go there, I want to make a disclaimer, because I have others on my platform, and what I say does not represent them at all. So I want to make sure that the viewers understand that what I'm about to say, they might not consent to what I'm saying. So don't let my voice speak for Philonda, Angela, Carlin, or Brittany. I'm speaking for Kai, and I'm speaking as a representation of the academy. Okay. So just now that we got that out the way, now I can move on forward and say what I'm going to say. Because I never like to make anybody feel uncomfortable, because they might not be able to hold the things that I say, but I can hold what I say, and I can repeat it twice. Right. And so at the end of the day, that comment derives from a space. That clip that you saw derives from a space of Western medicine and the approach that is taken with Western medicine practitioners. And the fact that the majority of I have an echo on me for some reason, and that the majority of our clients that come into our clinics or our salon will have already gone through Western medicine methodologies. Yet to no avail, there's no sustainability in what they have tried. I don't understand for the life of me. I am also a victim of that, a victim of being given injections and, just saying that this is what I needed to do. But no one ever thought to research my physiology, to understand what was happening with my body and why alopecia areata was manifesting on my scalp. And it was continuing to grow in areas where I was not getting injections. So I can speak from a personal and professional space. And so that's why I can stand on what it is that I'm saying, because about 95% of my clients that I have served in the space of trichology, they too have gone through Western medicine and been given doxycycline, injections, spironolactone, ketoconazole, and clobetasol, all of these different topicals and intralesional injections and oral medications. Yet they still have no sustainability. And why? The answer is simply because we're not getting to the root. We're only looking at the symptom. And so we do also have certain groups of dermatologists who then in turn come for a trichologist on their platform. I've personally had a dermatologist share all of my lives onto her platform to then have her dermatological partners come for me on my live saying that I was speaking propaganda. When in actuality, there is no propaganda involved. It's all factual. It's all justifiable. But because they say it's not evidence-based medicine, because it's not pharmaceutical grade, then it's false. It's propaganda, but it's not. It's my experience. It's also the experience of the clients that I've been serving. And at the end of the day, we can only speak what we know, and we can only regurgitate what the clients have shared with us. And so when they come to us and tell us that they've gone to doctors and this is what they've been given, we're not making this information up. We're not trying to come for a dermatologist. We're not trying to undermine a dermatologist. But what we're saying is we are the voice for these clients who are losing their hair and they're doing the protocol. Some of them are not doing the protocol. Some of them are not following, but I'm not talking about the ones that aren't adhering to the process. I'm talking about the ones that are diligently adhering to the process, and they are up in arms about what is happening with them because they don't have any answers, yet they have a cabinet full of prescriptions. That is not fair. It is not fair. So when we come in the space with our holistic care, and you say that we're spreading propaganda, how dare you? How dare you say that we're spreading propaganda? Because we too have evidence. We too have evidence that we are helping people recover. You're not the only ones with evidence. Because FDA hasn't approved our evidence, then it doesn't count. Is that what you're saying? Because I have plenty of receipts about the recoveries that I have that are sustainable, that are not laced with pharmaceutical drugs at the end of the day, and that are much healthier for our physiology and our well-being. But yet, because you can't offer what we offer as herbs, because your license will be taken if you give the advice that we give, then we're speaking propaganda. That's not okay for you to say that. Don't get mad because we can leverage a space in trichology that you can't. So why can't we just get along? We got patients that only want to do pharmaceutical because they've been brainwashed into thinking that that's the only thing that works. And we have clients that only want to do holistic because they know that that's what works. You serve your client, I'll serve my client. Everybody is happy. So why do you have to come for us when what you're offering goes against humanity? Because your drugs are not correcting the imbalance. Your drugs are simulating the body's functions. And what we're offering is a way for the body to heal itself, because when given the right conditions, the body will in turn heal itself. But when given synthetic molecules that mimic the molecules of the body, then the body at a certain point will not know how to create these molecules on its own because it's too much in the body. So because of how the body is set up with the reverse mechanism, the feedback mechanism, it will not create something that it recognizes is already there. So then the body relies on the medication. And that's not okay. But if that's what your patients want, that's fine. But if we have another way, and we're guiding clients in the way that they should be doing it in a safe manner, why would you want to undermine what we're doing? We're all working for the same thing. We all want to help the client be better at the end of the day. And so that's where that conversation derived, is because we need to understand that as trichologists, we have a certain amount of power, and we shouldn't lay it down to the dermatologists because they want to undermine what we're doing. Understand your power and operate in it, which is why you need to understand physiology mapping. And when you understand physiology mapping and you know how to get to the burden in the body, then you know how to build a protocol that is actually going to support the body, and you will tune out what the dermatologist is saying. We're not saying that we don't respect the dermatologist. We're not saying that there's not a need for the dermatologist, but what we're saying is we have a holistic approach that we take because we have a full understanding of physiology. Well, at least the ones that go to AHSD and the ones that have gone through ID, hair loss behind the chair, have a functional perspective on what the body is supposed to be doing and how it will work to heal itself when given the right conditions. I can't speak for any other organization and what they're doing, but over here, what you say, Angela? Over here, we doing what? That's a question. What we doing over here?
We eating. We eating over here. We getting fed. Yeah,
you understand?
Yeah, we eating.
And so this is what she means by she getting fed, and that they have 5-course meal, because I'm letting them understand how this body works. It's not to undermine and to come against the dermatologist, but the truth will prevail every day, all day. Every day, all day. And I stand on that. That's the business that I stand on, right? And that's the business that I teach my students so that they understand how to untangle this madness that their clients are going through. How are they going to unravel what's been happening? How are they going to help their client when the dermatologist can't? Because their perspective is different from one of a Western medicine professional. their perspective is different. They're taught different. And so I didn't kind of went on. I didn't got caught up and went on, but I'm gonna come on out of there. I didn't come on out because I could go on in there because I get a little perplexed by the thought of what I see and the lies that I see flowing across my timeline with what's really helping a person and what's not. When you're getting synthetic drugs, it's only ever putting out the localized inflammation. It's never ever putting out the inflammation from its root, which is why you can never get sustainability with your hair loss. So if you want to understand the root and you want to learn how to physiology map, I really highly suggest you come on over and eat with us at ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair for this 5-day thing we're doing, and then eventually find yourself in that 18-month course, because this is what you need on the front line to be able to help your clients. So let's dive into health and wellness with ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair and strengthen your client relationships, unlocking trichology from a natural hair artist perspective. It's 5 days of trichological intensive for licensed barbers and cosmetologists. It's all going down June 1st through the 5th. Registration is open right now. We have a 3-pay running on it. Registration is going to close out May 1st. But for now, there is a 3-pay. The 3-pay will expire on March the 20th, which means that you will get to make 3 payments towards your full tuition so that you don't have to pay the tuition in advance all at one time. I really highly suggest taking advantage of this 3-pay so that it gives you time to set yourself up without feeling overwhelmed by the total investment. The total investment is $3,697, which if you follow the strategy that is laid out during ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair, you will get an ROI. I kid you not, you will get an ROI. Let's hop into the segment with our certified trichologist, Miss Jessica Davis, because she laid this thing out. Who want to jump in there and talk about what Jessica did with this natural hair and these locks and all of this business? Who wants to give Jessica her big ups? You on mute, Philonda.
Jessica was like a pleasant surprise. I didn't even expect that. I wasn't even really thinking about that. And I knew she was going to be there. I knew, but I wasn't expecting that. And especially because that's a thriving industry now. And to get the tidbits, the jewels really that she was dropping in that space about how to deal with or to really utilize these trichological services on these clients, these individuals who's out here with locks, with sister locks. That's a huge industry right now. And for her to give us just jewels on how to navigate around that, what to do, how to treat it, do's and don'ts, and to be so freely given that much information, I don't know if that was included in the 36 pay. I don't know, but we got it. I did, at least, I'm just saying.
You don't know if it was included or not.
I don't know if it was included. I know all of that wasn't included, but thank you. Thank you, Jessica.
Don't y'all just love Philonda with 2 O's and an A? I love me some Philonda, y'all. I truly, really love me some Philonda. She brings life to a room. I just want to tell you that Philonda brings a life to a room. Every single morning, she want to hug everybody. She got to get her hug every single day. She is going to cut up all day. Every day, she gonna act like she asking questions for everybody else, like they really appointed her to be the question asker. She's really asking for herself, not for a friend.
Stop! I can't even make tears.
Yes.
First of all, everyone needs a hug, even those that don't want it. Get a hug so we can all smile today.
Right.
And they were asking questions. They were just sending them to me. They were airdropping. I don't even have an iPhone.
No.
I love it. Can y'all feel the energy though? These ladies are phenomenal. Like, so if that brings me to this, how was the energy in the space of ID? Like with all, because this wasn't all that was there. There was some other people that were in the space, but how was that energy for you guys coming in? Because it could get real stuffy coming into places in our industry, and very unfriendly and
Yeah,
things like that. So, and we scared to ask questions because we don't want to be looked at a certain kind of way. What was that energy like for those 5 days, y'all?
It was great. It was. I was excited or glad to see you had ranges from Brittany being a baby, Brittany and Dania being a baby, to Miss D being the oldest or veteran in the industry. It was just great because everybody shared, everybody came together as one. And you know, you really don't get that with hairstylists. I don't know why, but everybody was one. It wasn't about what I did, what I can do. It was about helping each other, furthering along. You know, even when we were doing our vision boards at the end, or even just trying to find pictures, my partner sitting at the table with me. It was just such a joy to see all Black women just have a really good time and just really enjoy each other and learn and have fun. It's a must do. It's a must do.
Jeanette said it felt like a family reunion.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
I want to say this,
Yes.
that I really, really did feel this. Every single person in that room were little pieces of me. And I was able to connect that. Even if they were just quiet and humble, or if they were doing something, I'm a people watcher. So I was able to look around the room and see the little pieces of me and work on that as I was there. Whether it was something I didn't like about me or something that I liked about me, I was able to embrace that in that space. And that's what I like about that. And it wasn't too big of a crowd. You know, for the church growers, you know, when you go to the big churches and you just in a pew and nobody sees you, and no, it's a small church in there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I want to go really quickly. I want to go to a commercial. Hold this because we coming back. Put a pin in this. Don't lose it. Don't lose the energy. All right, y'all. We coming right back. The person that you came as, memorialize that person right now, because you're about to be something different, something greater. You came to get something, and what you think you came to get, that ain't what you came to get. God is meeting you here because it's something that you need for your next, and we're about to bridge a gap. Come here. This is your time to get your cup filled. Take your superwoman capes off. We've created a safe environment for you. Well, Trichology, we rip off all the Band-Aids because we want to get to the core and we want to rebuild. So I want you to give yourself permission to break and to rebuild yourselves so that you can be dispatched to your communities to help these men, women, and children. That video always just makes me smile.
Yes. That was so
Yeah.
warm.
There's so much footage from that 5 days until I'm still looking at stuff on my phone, and I'm not even a person to take pictures, but it's so much to download.
Yeah.
And it's good to look at it because it gives you a moment to just go back and say, what was going on? What did we do here? What was happening in this moment? And take another piece of it as if it just happened.
As if it just happened. So let's pick back up on the conversation that we were having. Now that we kind of recapped with that video, it takes you back to a moment in time. What was that energy like for you guys in that space? I know Philonda shared. So somebody else hop in there, give some feedback on that.
Well, just like someone said, it was like a family reunion, even though you come in and some of the people you didn't know, but then it's like a safe space. And then you didn't have to ask, well, who all gonna be there? Because, you know, we'll ask that, who all gonna be there? And we won't show up. And it's definitely like not like that at all. I'm telling you, it's a safe space. The energy can be up here, then it can be down there, but even when it get low, because it's needed, you know. So it's like even the temperature, the energy temperature, you know, when to go up, when to go down, but it all connected. So just good stuff, good energy, a good flow throughout those 5 days.
That's big too. A lot of us was meeting for the first time.
Yeah. Especially our cycle. We met for the first time, and it was like we knew each other, even though we never
Yeah.
met. We just was always on
Right.
video, but it was just like, hey girl, like like we live next door to each other. But I like the part that each morning we started with praise and worship, because that's so important. Not only the breathing, but to get centered with Him. And that centers us, because we have so much traffic going on in our minds, our day-to-day lives. We just focused on us in that moment, and it just brought light to every aspect of our life. Once we got back home, we were able to share,
Right.
we were able to help ourselves, help each other, our clients. It was just really, it was high energy. It was great.
That's good stuff. Britt. You on mute, Mom?
You.
There you go.
Better. So I'm gonna speak on two different aspects. One, because I always roll with my clique. So, I have a little bubble of safety when I'm with them. But also, I did share an ID. I don't really have uh, I don't have a hairstylist network, like a close knit group of hairstylist friends. And I feel like every time I go to ID, I leave with more of a connection, more rooted in the artistry, not even just with trichology, just having these connections with different people. And I do think that the way that we did things this time, it was a little different from how we've been doing it in the past. This was my third ID. And I feel like for whatever reason, the connection was so much more instant and stronger. I don't know if it was just the group of people or if it was the way that we um, went through the days with having Dr. Joy first, and by opening us up more. I don't know what it was, but it was just it was like refreshing to walk in there every morning. We were all dead tired, and
Yeah.
we worked like crazy
Got something
loud,
out.
and we into this space, and then Dr. Joy is like, close your eyes. And it's just like at 6:00 in the morning, we were just so happy to see each other. So I really appreciated that. The vibe was there. I
Was
really
there. And I miss y'all. As tired as I was, like I have to regret, like coming in, I'm on 3 hours of sleep or 1 hour of sleep, and coming in at 6 in the morning and being with you guys. It was a treat every single day. Delia and I really enjoyed being in that space, with you all. And yeah, I would agree with you also, Brittany, that this ID flowed differently. So that's I have two questions, because everybody in this space has participated in ID more than one time. However, Brittany and Carlin have experienced ID in person all the times that they've ever experienced ID. And so what I want to find out is from all of you, and I heard Philonda say, and I'll be back. What makes you keep coming back and paying for something that you already are getting? Why are you? That's huge right there, that you're already getting this through AHSD, but you are electing to pay to come to ID for what you already have access to. So why?
That one-on-one connection, even though
Because it's something different.
right, it's not we're not the only people in the class, but it's like we have you. That one-on-one, it's like that verbal connection or that instinct that you grab, that you get. That even being online, we still have you still help us with our homework, with everything, but it's just coming into a space where everybody trying to get the same thing, being on one accord, I think is huge. So the ID is necessary. The 5 days was a stretch, but I see that it was necessary because each day brought on something different that you didn't know. They had a lot of twists and turns, but it still got you grounded. It still got you back on track. Okay, yes, this is what I'm here for. And you get more and more each and every time. I say do I really need to go back? And I sit and think, and it's like, yeah, because you learn it's the dots are connected to me every ID. And it's like, I get it now. I understand it. If somebody calls with a question, even though it seems like I don't really know, but Kai, you always tell me, Carlin, just stay where you are. Don't try to go further. You can help where you are. So I stay where I am and give the information that has been given or I've been taught. And it's just an eye opener, not only for them, but for you too. And it's like, okay, I'm getting it. I'm understanding it more and more. So ID is definitely something that's necessary going to school.
Yeah, that's good. That's
It
good.
is.
Anybody else have any other feedback and why they feel it necessary? Because I mean, for me, I'm not big on just taking your money. And anybody that has ever been in a space with me knows that I'm not just one that just want. I don't lead with money in mind. I lead with my intention is to pour into you those things that I have, and the money will come, right? And so, with that said, it's an honor to have you guys in the space, but it also lets me know that wow, God, they're really getting something because they're already in a space with you at the highest level of what you teach. And for them to want to come to ID, that's speaking volumes about what it is that they're getting and how well they're receiving from you to leave their space of residency, their business, for 5 days or for 3 days or 6 days or 7 days, really, to step away, especially for this 5-day stint, because you had to come there a day early and some left a day later. So that's really 7 days that you were away from your business. And so that is a big ask for someone. And to do it without thinking and to say, wow, Carla said it, and I like her honesty. She was like, 5 days was a stretch, but I see that it was so necessary. So what's some other feedback on that? Because I just find that to be phenomenal that you would even want to be in that space with me for 5 days, even though you're already at the highest level of learning with me.
Can I say two things? I'm gonna make mine real short. One, it's nothing like being in a space with like-minded people, and you don't have to feel like the room is lost and you can just flow with a conversation and they get it. The second point is no one reads the Bible once and get it all. You got to go back through it again. It's so much information in there and it's being put out to you. And you definitely are tracking and you there and you writing it down, but you go back again and again and you hear it a different way, you see it a different way, you learn it, and then you apply it a different way. So for those two reasons, for me, that's what it is.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. But I want to say
I was thinking the same thing.
Go ahead, Angela.
Oh, well, I was thinking the same thing as Philonda. Even when I got back, I compared my two books, and I'm like, had I not gone, so who's to say at the next one, if the book will be thicker, we still learning. And so it's like, it's not just a recording that, you're just getting the same stuff, ID after ID. So it's ever growing. And so, yeah, I don't want to miss out. I'll be there in June. I don't want to miss out. I don't know what's gonna go down. I don't know how y'all gonna be eating. Y'all might eat another meal, and I want to be there to eat too.
Add another course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So speaking of which,
eating.
I love y'all, Angie. I love y'all. I do. And this is how it is when we're in clinical sessions, right? I mean, not clinical. Well, clinicals for a certain part. Clinical is more serious, but for our lecture sessions, right? It's like when we finish up, even at the end of our clinical sessions, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go for real this time, y'all. I'm going. I'm gonna go for real. I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go. But this is how the energy is in the space. I love my students, and I love that my students enjoy being in my space, and they have a respect for how I teach, and they can also learn and implement from my teachings. My teachings come from a space of pain and a space of lack when I was not getting what I needed. And so I derived this teaching style based on how I learned from what I wasn't getting and how I didn't know how to implement. So this is why I can resonate with my students the way that I do, and also coupled with the fact that God has given me a gifting to be able to do it. So I can't take all of the credit because it's also lined with gifting as well. I want to mention, because Angela mentioned about the book. So some of y'all got an old version of the book. Some of y'all got the last version of the book that we did, last year. And then some of y'all got this new version. Let's talk about this book, the evolution of the book. How y'all feel about this new book that we got going? What y'all got to say?
I thought I would read that book, but it really
yes, yeah, I love it. It's simple, but it's not. So it flowed better, but it just gave you a better understanding. I love it. Yeah, I do. I like it.
It's them tabs on the side for me. It's them tabs.
It's an easy read too. It's an easy read. It's a very easy read. You can pick this book up at any point and go right to what you need, read it and go, that's right. We did talk about that, and move right on. It's the difference again from being me, a certified trichologist, and now functioning as a certified trichologist. It's a big difference.
Big, yeah.
I think the class flowed a little differently with the way you have it set up now too, because the heaviness of it is in the beginning now, and you can get all your questions out, and then once you get to the end of it, now it's like those connections and the light bulbs are going off because this is what we talked about in this section, opposed to I think kind of the other way around before, and it was like we was getting to the end of the book, but the questions was piling up. Get out of there because we had to do it all. But I think it flowed a lot better, and even just I don't know how many extra details you had in it, but a lot of stuff, like even for us, as far as we are in the program, it was like in the digestive system.
Yes.
It's good stuff. As I'm gonna speak some broken English here. It gets betterer and betterer, right?
Gooder and gooder.
Gooder and gooder, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. So we have. I want to come back because I want to highlight something before we get ready to get out of here. So y'all stay with me. If you guys are just joining, thank you for joining in. If you're just joining, please share this broadcast out, because I'm getting ready to share something with y'all that y'all don't want to miss when I come back from this commercial break. So if you ain't already shared, share this, because somebody might need to be on the receiving end for what I'm getting ready to share. So share it while we on this break. We'll be right back.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay, Houston, fuel cell 1, fuel cell 3.
We're created equally, but we respond differently.
All right, y'all. Because Houston, we got a problem. And the problem is alopecia and scalp maladies that are not getting treated from the root. And in order to treat from the root, we have to understand physiology mapping. And in order to understand physiology mapping, you have to be enrolled in a functional trichology course, right? And that will be the beginning phases of ID hair loss behind the chair, happening June 1st through the 5th. In Houston, Texas, a 5-day incubator, you guys, where you're going to learn how to shift in your mindset, acquire a new skill set, understand how to monetize trichology, understand how to keep the money once you make the money with our resident tax expert and business strategist, as well as how to brand yourself in the space we have, which I will start announcing the additional speakers that we have, because we got 2 new people coming on board with us coming up in June that we didn't have for February. So we got some newness coming to the space. And as we continue to come live with you every week, I will announce more things that we're going to have. However, this week, I want to highlight one of the students that participated in ID, which is Angela Dumas Reed. Angela Dumas Reed has such a profound experience at ID. It left her in awe with how God really loved on her in that space and how much she really released in that space that she was holding on to, that she didn't understand that she was holding on to it. She didn't understand that she was leading in her space personally and professionally with this stuff that she was holding on to. And she got such a huge release through one of the exercises that we did there at ID. And as she said, when she first came on this live, with the first 3 hours, she was already moved and she was already transitioning and transforming. Well, it didn't stop with the first 3 hours. Every single day, there was a different revelation. She got to day 4, and there was an even bigger revelation. Day 5 was her release in that revelation. And when she went home, things continued to peel back for her, and she was able to tune in and tap in to the real Angela Dumas Reed that God created, so that she can go out and dispatch what she's learned into the communities to impact other people. And she didn't stop with what's going on behind her chair. This woman sent me an email, and the email said, Kai, that she, and this isn't verbatim, I'm paraphrasing, that she has such an amazing experience, and that the Holy Spirit told her that she couldn't just only keep this experience to herself, but she had to share this experience. And that for that reason, the Holy Spirit moved on her heart and her pocketbook and told her to sponsor a full tuition for one person to come to ID. This woman has reached into her bank account and she has already paid $3,697. $3,697 because she sowed a seed where she was watered. She sowed a seed where she was watered, and she was obedient to what God asked her to do because she understands her assignment is much more clear now as a result of being at ID for 5 days. Now she's now paid it forward with $3,697 of her dollars. So now what I'm going to do is I get the opportunity to gift someone with that. Is there anybody on this live tonight that feels like, based on what has been discussed in this space, that they need to be at ID? And this is just not somebody that's coming to get on a bandwagon. This is someone who is coming into the space because they really understand that there's a void in their life. There's really something missing. They need their cup to be filled up because they know God has called them to something higher that they can't do by themselves. And they need to lock arms with someone else in order to get across the finish line. That you really know that there's something inside of you and you need to help somebody in your community, not just one somebody, but some somebodies with the information that you're going to learn as a result of a shift in your mindset and then the skill set that you're going to be learning. If that is you, I need you to send an email to info@aahsd.com. 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 Jay, can you type that in the chat for me and then share it on the screen? info@aahsd.com. I need to understand why you need to be there, how this is going to change your life, and then how you're going to change someone else's life as a result of the shift in your life. Send it to me. I don't want you saying, oh, I just want to be there because I want to be a certified trichologist or I need to learn trichology. How are you going to change lives with this? Because trichology is powerful and we need to leverage this space.
Yes.
Go ahead, Carmen. You want to say something?
No, I agree with you. It's more about helping the next person, about helping a generation, changing the way we see ourselves, the way we eat, the way we live, the way we function. It's bigger than just hair, because hair is going to grow once we get that together, but that's more important than the inside. Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's way more important.
Talk about it, Angela, because this is your ticket. This is you giving someone this blessing, this opportunity. So speak on it, sweetheart.
So on that particular day, and you was telling us about, at first she was like, okay, I want y'all to write a declaration letter. So, okay, I was on board. I am, I will. But then you switched it up. And that's one thing I like, your obedience. It's not a script. So if you feel led to go in another direction, that's what happened. And you said, write a eulogy. And I want you to start it out as Here Lies a Woman. And I wrote that, and then I felt myself being paralyzed, and I couldn't go any further. And I was trying, I was looking around, but I still couldn't write. And I remember asking Dania where you was, and she said she's over there. And I came, and I was like, Kai, can I write the declaration? You was like, no, you have to write the eulogy. And I'm pretty much like, please let me write this declaration. You was like, no. And then even having to, because at that point, writing that eulogy, it was so real to me. I felt like I hadn't finished something that I needed to finish. Because being in another program, I had someone to tell me I couldn't. She pretty much said, I'll never get this. And for me to write that eulogy, it was like, no, because I haven't finished, even though I'm doing it for me, I still haven't finished this. So and I didn't know that those words affected me like that and had took root. And at that moment, it was something and that's one thing, you're not just an educator. At that moment, you was an encourager and like a mother, because even the hug you gave me and the things you were speaking, and it was just so much. And at that moment, and then you called Dr. Joy, and we stepped outside, and even talking with Dr. Joy, and just those things, it was just being released. So that seed was sown. It's sort of like I plugged it, even though I wasn't watering it, it still lay dormant in me to be like, it's there. I knew it was there. And I got back home, and before I got back home, after talking with Dr. Joy, coming back into that space, I was able to write my eulogy, and not only write it, but get up and read it. And, for me, that was huge. And I was just like, you know what? I got this. I can do this. And even coming back, my long time with the Lord, and I was just like, man, if I could just sponsor somebody. And I heard the Holy Spirit tell me I can. And then now I'm like, well, Lord, at what percentage? Because I knew. And he said 100%. So even with you, I emailed you, and you text me like, okay, a portion of all. And I was like 100%, because I want to walk in obedience as well, because I don't know the person that's going to be picked. I know who would it be, but I know their life would be changed. You're not coming there just to learn about hair and scalp. It's so much deeper than that. And man, the person that would be there would be so full, so fed, and that's what. So I'm rooting for the person that's handpicked, that will come into that space and receive. Because even when I came, I knew I was coming to be educated. I knew that, but just the elevation that took place there, so I'm just thankful and that I was able to do it, and I'm grateful for the person that will receive and to come into that space and to just leave brand new, just whole.
That's awesomeness. That's awesome.
It's so good.
Yeah, that's really good. And this is why the person that is chosen for this, it can't just be any random person. I'm not looking to choose any random person at all for this. I have to feel it in your story. There has to be a connection to who you are and what you're going to gain from being in the space that God has created. Right? There has to be a connection. So, and I will be able to tell. These are images of the moment that Angela is talking about. These are images of that. And there has to be a connection because her experience was so profound that I cannot do it an injustice by just allowing somebody to come and be in the room because they just heard about ID and they want to come see what the experience is all about. I can't allow that to happen. Okay. And so what I'm asking is for only the ones who feel like the Holy Spirit is leading them to be in this space to submit, right? To submit for this, because this is huge. This $3,697 that she is sponsoring out of her pocket as a result of her experience, that's a huge move, and that's a huge faith move. Because some of you, I'm about to go on in. I wouldn't be Kai if I didn't. Some of you keep showing up here in my online space to just glean for free, to see what's going to be told, or you come in this space just to be motivated. And I told y'all the other night when I was on, I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to empower you and inspire you to be better and to take action, not for you to come in here and just hear me and get pumped up. And yeah, Kai, I don't need you to pump me up. I'm my own hype woman. I don't need the hype, right? And so I don't need you coming in this space because you want to see what's happening in this space. I need you to come in this space because God is calling you to this space on this free complimentary opportunity, because it is going to change your life. And if the right person doesn't get this, it's going to be in vain. It's going to be in vain, because there are many that won't spend their own money on themselves, that you won't invest $36.97 in your own self. You got all kind of excuses about why you can't do it. Yet this woman is willing to give $36.97 of her coins, her hard-earned coins, to invest in you. So no, I will not just choose anybody. I will not just choose anybody, because some of you won't bet on yourself that way. And that's real talk. Real talk. And so with that said, telling me why you need this, how it is going to change your life. How is this going to change your life? And how is it going to change the lives of the people that are under you as a result of that? Why Trichology for you? Send it to info@ahsd.com, and it needs to be sent to me by Friday, because I will be coming live with the announcement on Tuesday of next week. By Friday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, please have your brief statement about why you should be chosen inside of the info@ahsd.com email. I won't take any submissions after 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. The students, y'all better tell them I don't play with the timestamp on the email, right?
No.
I don't.
No, ma'am.
Right? 6
No.
p.m. Central Standard Time. If it's 6:01,
It's late. It's
I
late.
will not. I will not, because I don't take this lightly. I don't take God's business lightly. This is God's business, and I'm for real about it. Call it what you want to, but I'm for real about it. So send it to, you can see it on the banner on the screen. But at any rate, Tamisha says she does not.
Yeah.
Stop it, Tamisha. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
And so with that said, you guys, we're getting ready to get out of here. And so what I want to ask each one of you is, before we leave, can you just surmise why someone should be at ID Hair Loss Behind the Chair June 1st through the 5th? Angela, we'll start with you.
I'll say they need to be there, because even though you probably don't even think that, oh, I need work within myself, but you would definitely get it. And then if your cup is full, you can, you can give out, you can pour into others, because who can pour from an empty cup? You can't. And so that's one of those things. And not just even working within, even being there and you giving from branding, marketing, even speaking with the lawyer and having a financial advisor there, that was huge. So even I learned some stuff like, oh, I need to make, I need to cover myself, and I need to be doing this. And so All of it was good stuff. So I'm telling y'all, sign up because she only taking 15. So really 14, we're really 13 left because it's me and the person that's gonna get chosen. So y'all better get on board, baby, because we're gonna
You leaving us out. You
eating.
leaving us out, Angela. You leaving us
You
out.
said 2 seats gone already.
Right, right. You leaving the cycle out.
You didn't have to say that, Angela. You didn't have to tell her that. She said, I don't know what y'all gonna do.
Right. 13 spaces. All right, Angela. All right.
Carly, why do they need to be in the room?
Because it's life changing. It doesn't just affect you, it affects others. It affects the people that you're going to touch. It affects the people, like I keep saying, it's generational. The things you learn about yourself, the things you learn just throughout the course is very helpful. It's insightful. You learn, like we keep talking about Dr. Joy, the psychiatrist. She was awesome. She was phenomenal. She was great. Her and Kai linking together is God sent to me. It should again just stay in there. It just should stay constantly the whole 5 days. But the whole 5 days is worth it because you're learning your skill set, you're learning about you, you're learning about your business that a lot of us don't take, or a lot of us take for granted. That's not needed. It's necessary to have all your things in order, all your business in order. We learn about wheels, we learn about just having all your the LLC, the S corp, all of that about the lawyer, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, how you should have everything written out so nobody is, or especially you, get caught up in a mix of something. So the whole 5 days, it was great. It's awesome. You should be there. Don't miss it. So now Angela is 12 chairs. That's it's 12 now.
I love y'all. Yeah, I love y'all. Y'all crazy. Fred, give it to us.
I would say that ID is transformational. Like I said, I've been there 3 times, and I said, I don't know if it was my first or second one, that I'm going to be there every time because one, I'm just stay engulfed in what my subject matter is, but also I leave with something different every time. And Kai did say that, I'm not very expressive, but I do have transformations happening on the inside of me. And with the work that we did at the last ID, and she made us work on this roadmap and eulogize ourselves, and I wrote some really big goals. And so just that alone, being able to write that on paper and say, okay, you could do this. It makes you, ID definitely helped me to look at myself a little differently. And even aside from that, I'm typically one of the only people that's in the room that's not that own their own salon, but I'm being set up so perfectly for whatever I decide to do in the future. Because I'm learning so many things. I know a lot from, my colleagues already, but the people that Kai bring into the space just to help us with everyday salon things that we don't think about because we're so busy servicing our clients. She's giving that to us. So honestly, the 36, what is it, 36.97? It's a drop in the bucket for what you're gonna get. And like Falana, eating, literally and figuratively.
Yes, wait.
I had my buffet. Me and Miss Jeanette had our buffet set up every morning because we was getting all that good information. But it's definitely in so many different aspects. It's transformative, and you really just need to be there to really fully understand it.
That's good stuff. Falanda with 2 O's and an A.
Hey.
All right, I'm going to say it again, and this one is a cry out, a call, especially to the trichologists that's listening. The vault is open, okay? Go in the room. You don't have to rob it. You don't have to steal it. The door is wide open. Go in there and get all the jewels, the luxury, everything that's going to be given to you. And as Brittany said, it is a drop in a bucket of what you're going to leave there with, and you can immediately utilize and put it back into your pocket. You're going to go in there and be rebuilt, refilled, and restart anything that you thought was staggered, especially if you were in the trichology space already and you just stuck and trying to figure out how you want to turn or shift new. Go in there while the vault is open, grab all your goods and come on out of there. And you won't leave with a bag that's empty that you cannot go home and use immediately. So mine is specifically a cry out to any active trichologists out there that feel like they just got to a place where you aren't necessarily moving or shifting how you want to. Go and get your ticket so you can start up again.
That's good.
Good, Philomena. That's good.
That's good. And I'm going to end on this note. I see Angela Cosby says, and don't come there playing because God will expose you.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's my friend. That's my friend.
God will expose you.
Yeah.
And
That's right.
Truth. Kai is not going to expose you, but God will.
Yes,
God
will.
So don't come into the space if it's not for you, because we're okay and we do understand that it is not for everyone.
Yeah.
It is for the elite. What I do understand, hey, Miss Bridget Mack, what I do understand is that I'm for the 1%ers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
The other 99 ain't mine.
It's not for the weak.
I'm a 1%er child. I'm that girl. That I'm only for the ones that want it, that are about it, and that's willing to extend themselves to get it. Because if I know that you're willing to extend yourself to get it, then I'm going to extend myself to you because I want to get it. And I will labor with you to get it. Right? And so with that said, we're going to exit out of here tonight. I love you back, Miss Jessica Davis. And Jessica Davis will be back in the building with all
right,
of
Jess.
information, because that is not my forte. So even though I know trichology, doing it from a natural perspective is not my forte. It is not my genius. That is Miss Jessica Davis' genius. She is bad at it. When I tell you, this girl got a way of bringing that education to life for the naturalista like nobody's business. She killed that whole presentation. She killed that presentation.
Yeah.
So,
it was awesome. Yeah.
The way that she gives that information, she articulates that information. It is so interesting. And there were so many questions flowing. She was debunking so many myths. She was bringing forth so many different wrongdoings around the hair fibers of these different types of locks, no matter what kind of lock it is, and also the different tools that are being misused, as well. So that whole session was so enlightening. So at the end of the day, you guys, I want to say thank you for giving me your time. We've been on almost 2 hours. So I thank you for your time on a Tuesday evening because it was not supposed to go this long. So thank you for being patient and playing with me for a couple of hours on your Tuesday night. I thank you for trusting in Kai Smith brand and all that we're doing with AHSD and IE to support you with your trichology education and journey. I do love the fact that you guys want to come back, in June. I love all of the love. So thank you so much for loving on me because I need you as much as you need me. So thank you for that. And we're going to take out from there. I love y'all. You guys have an amazing
night. See y'all later.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I want to caution you that you have to know the science of scalp and hair. Although it may seem easy to monetize, we can't go after it just because we're chasing porn. we have to go after it because we really understand the depths of what this science is saying, what's happening, what's being unraveled, because it's not just scalp care. It's not just detoxing, exfoliating the scalp. There's so much more that the scalp is revealing to us. And if you don't understand the intricacies of a microscopic analysis, then you're missing the whole point. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do a scalp detox, but there's so much more when you look at the landscape of the scalp that needs to be interpreted, that is a window into one's health. And all of that is missed if you bypass the trichological experience to go to a scalp spa and you never encounter a beauty professional who is well versed in all areas of cosmetology and trichology alike. Good night.